The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Earnestly podcast here. Kyle Nash, Big Jim, Nies. Fellas, what's up? Happy Thursday.
Why the fuck did I get top billing? We've been over this. I am not the celebrity.
Okay. Earnestly podcast. Jim Nies, Big Jim, Kyle Nash, Kyle effing Nash. Better.
Thank you.
What is going on? EJ, glad we're back. I'm glad to see you're back. I'm glad you're healthy and recovered. That is the most important part.
Thank you. And you know I'm back. This is my fourth podcast in like fucking 3 days.
I know. Get the downloads.
Yeah.
This is proof that Jim should be the celebrity. Like, out the gate, here comes EJ. First thing I do is talk trash. No, why do I have top billing? And here comes Jim. Ernest, we are so grateful you have returned from the hell that is COVID. Fuck! No, I am the asshole of the podcast. Anyway.
What's up, Kyle Nash?
I don't think I've cursed this much on your show in a long time, if ever. Jeez.
No, that's not true. I think it was a podcast after and went nuts. What was that, Jim?
I said, and we're 38 seconds in, so we're off to a wonderful start.
Wonderful start.
Yeah, exactly. He's got it.
All we need is sound drops.
Christ.
All we need is sound drops. Anyway, we won't talk about, like, we can talk football, but, I mean, who gives a shit? I mean, we got a whole week for the Super Bowl.
I mean,
3 days.
You know, not for nothing, gentlemen. Like, our group text, as it's become since the first episode of this endeavor,
yeah,
they're pretty friggin' entertaining. If not just downright vicious at times, but they're fucking great. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
Oh, they're a riot, man. They're an absolute riot. And it's funny, like I'm in so many group texts, and like this is just another one. And so like sometimes, and because my brain is just kind of like a massive useless jelly at this point after 10 and a half months of this nonsense. But like there's points where I'm like, what group text? Like, I think of something funny. I'm like, what group text was that in? What group text do I need to send this to? And like, I end up just, a lot of times I'll send the same meme or joke or something to all of them. And I'm just like, you know what? You assholes can sort it out. I don't have time.
I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of cut and paste going on in my group text.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's that one South Park episode. Whatever, you think it's funny. Fuck you. Right? Exactly. You know.
Oh, wait, so over under at 9 at the amount of group texts you have, guys? Over 9?
I am not the guy to ask. Unlike you two, who apparently are attention sluts, which is okay.
Okay.
I K-watch that shit because I've had it happen before where I'll be sitting in a meeting and I have my phone on because I'm actually legitimately expecting something. Like the time in question I'm mentioning, like, the wife is knocked up. I need to have a line to her. And then suddenly, bing, bing, bing. I'm like, you fucking asshole. I know all of you have day jobs. What are you doing? Know?
Let's be clear, though. All my group texts are muted. I'll check them when I check them. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that shit goes on and on and on. And I'm not trying to have that.
Whatever reason, and if you mean muting the notifications, listen, that was also, when I'm early adopting this. And like, let me be clear, neither of you two are the people that are doing that. Like, there are times, and I don't mean to throw any shade on my 3-point conversion compadres, because that's a pretty damn good one at times. Right. There are times where, like, if they're talking baseball, I'm like, mute, for example.
Yeah, you especially. You hate baseball.
I do.
Speaking of which, let's start. Want to go there first?
Hey, listen, and actually, I'm glad you're going to do that because I hear a lot of bitching about the Curt Schilling situation. I obviously don't have an opinion except for this. Like, y'all need to do something about your damn Hall of Fame freaking voting process. Because for one, like, as I understand it, and actually, it's interesting. I understand it a little bit because of working with Antoine Staley back in the day I did when I was responsible for getting credentials. Like, I'm not going to mention the company, but I'm sure Big Jim knows who it is. But the punchline being is, like, in that process, I actually asked Twan Staley, who is a wealth of information anyway. Like, my understanding, at least at that time, was you had to have been a member of the baseball media, and there's a certain checkbox you got to check. I don't know if you have to be a member of the Baseball Writers of America or whatever. Probably so.
You have to be white.
No, that's actually not true. But
And old, white and old is the quota to be a Hall of Fame voter in Major League Baseball.
Well, that's the thing. Like, yeah, you have to have covered baseball and been a member of the Writing Association for 10 years. Yeah. Okay, that's ridiculous. But the fact is, it's a lifetime membership. So, like, you could have been retired from the biz for 30 years, not even watched a single pitch of frickin' baseball. Your source of light is Buster Olney and Tim Kurkjian, okay? And not to say they're bad, but, like, you're kind of expected to, do the job. But, hey,
right.
The college football committee members don't, so why should you? Anyways, so you're welcome, Jim. So, anyways, the fact that you get a lifetime vote, I mean, listen, Football Hall of Fame members, if you aren't active, they take your shit. And I think we need that to happen here. Like, you don't need this many voters, right. And you're damn sure it doesn't need to be like a damn Supreme Court appointment. It's trash.
It is trash. I wrote about it, a little blog about it today, too. And I discussed it also on one of the recent episodes I did on the podcast about Curt Schilling. Be clear, I hate the fucking guy. I fucking despise the guy.
The guys, can I ask, because, again, the baseball outsider, like, to hear, and even aside from this year, fellas, whenever I hear people talk about Curt Schilling, and not to say I'm a member of a particular side of the aisle, but it's kind of like Ted Cruz. Like, does anybody like this fucking guy?
Clay Travis probably does, but besides that.
Which, by the way, I'm glad you did that, Jim, if I may.
It wasn't me.
If you're so down on Clay Travis, how come you're still listening to the dude? Like, what's up?
Oh, I mean, I don't listen to him, but like there are people on my Twitter feed that will retweet things, and I'll see them, and I'm like, well, if I sees it, then I'm gonna comment on it. So
I hear you. In short, they feed the troll, and you open fire, because like I saw you. You did. I saw you talk. One of the numerous silly things he said about politics, which I'm not going to knock you knocking him for that. Yeah, but I was suspicious. Yeah, I was suspicious as to where your what's his word line stood on his opening rant about just completely trashing Danny White and Josh Heupel after they're leaving UCF in Tennessee.
Right.
So.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, I still think it's just laughable that he's. I mean, a couple months ago he was talking about Tennessee's win streak, and now he's going off about the recent hires and this and that. It's just, again, he knows who his base is, both in sports and politics. He knows how to make money. He's been printing it this year, so congratulations to him on that. But yeah,
was a bro kick.
Bro kick or outshill the coverage.
Outshill the coverage.
But like to the point about Curt Schilling, like, I said this on Huddle Up on Tuesday night because we got into it. Is like, should Curt Schilling be a Hall of Famer? I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, I guess that there can be some debate and argument to like, was he really that dominant outside of a handful of playoffs or World Series? But like, I mean, the guy won 3 World, he's a part of 3 World Series teams. Like, he has a really good resume. So should he be a Hall of Famer? Let's say yes, he should be a Hall of Famer. However, like, me personally, I'm not going to feel bad for Curt Schilling. Like, I almost compare it in some way to Terrell Owens at the NFL. Like, when you are a certain way, be it perceived or reality, there are repercussions to that. Like, Terrell Owens should absolutely be a Hall of Famer. Terrell Owens should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, but like, he hasn't gotten in. So, there's when you make your bed, unfortunately, sometimes people are going to make you lie in it. So, Be careful what you wish for. Now,
I would argue though, and I love T.O. for the record, but I will argue. I think even Kyle and I did a topic on this podcast a couple of years ago.
We probably did talk about.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. When he did get in, he didn't get in. He just didn't go to the ceremony.
Oh, that's right.
T.O. didn't. T.O. actually probably did more negative things, quote unquote, in the football circle than Curt Schilling. Curt Schilling's issues is more so his politics. Like, I hate his politics. I think it's disgusting. A lot of it shit he says on fucking social media is disgusting. But that being said, I can still be rational and separate that from his professionalism on the field. He was phenomenal. He's a 3,000 strikeout pitcher. That's an anomaly in itself. Okay, he's like, I think only like 18 guys that got there. He's 11-2 in the postseason. He's had a really, solid career. He should be, in my opinion, a first ballot Hall of Famer. I go as far as that. I hate the fucking guy. I fucking hate him. But he deserves.
I won't disagree. But again, when you also kind of have to know your audience too. So when you know who the group of people are that vote on the Baseball Hall of Fame, which is a whole separate battle in and of itself.
Oh yeah.
When you got to read the room if you want to get in. Now, I will say this, to Schilling's credit, he released a statement on Tuesday night that basically said, look, take me off the ballot. I know I'm not getting in. Leave it up to my peers. If I get in, I get in. If I don't, I don't. So, which is such an odd thing that for, once in his life, he actually takes kind of the intelligent way, and maybe it's just he feels he's getting above the system if he's taking himself off the ballot. But, he knows he's not getting in, so he might as well put that statement in and try and make himself save face. But, will he get in, with the Veterans Committee? Depends how many of them he's pissed off, I guess.
But it is going to show you, though, that there is a bias. Let's be clear.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If that doesn't, T.O. certainly did. Can we be clear about that for 30 seconds? The people that are in the Hall of Fame with certain things in mind, and you want to talk trash on T.O., listen, at least the dude, to my knowledge, never got busted, never, got into anything off the field or any of that stuff. And I mean, all I got to do to piss off people on this panel that pretend to be Giants fans but are actually fans is to bring up Lawrence Taylor. Right?
Wow. Really? You're doing that now? Lawrence,
listen,
only
you and your facts. Facts don't care about your feelings, Ernest Christian.
Okay,
I'm just telling you.
Thank you, Mr.
But the other thing I want to add too, and something else that I feel like the baseball committee also misses here, Curt Schilling is the blood on the sock guy, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
How does that guy not get in the goddamn Hall of Fame? Hell, Tebow won a playoff game. The next year, I was at my first credentialed event ever at the Football Hall of Fame, and they had an exhibit for Tim Tebow there. How does the blood sock guy not make it? The story matters too. But by the same token, this is the Robert Horry defense too. Robert Horry was on a lot of NBA Finals teams that won. Should he be a Hall of Famer? Hell to the no. But I don't know. It's an interesting concept with Schilling. I know enough to know that I can see what all the kick up is.
Big Jim, do you know who Robert Horry is?
Yeah, I mean, vaguely. I remember the name from when I was younger, but
okay. Big Shot Bob.
He's not a basketball guy. That's why.
Oh, there you go. But see, and that's a hell of a point. I am not a baseball guy, but I know who Curt Schilling is. If that doesn't call for the Hall of friggin' Fame, what does?
Yeah, and you hate baseball. That's what
I do. I make fun of
on an annual basis. You make fun of me every April was opening day, and I send you a text. Hey, happy opening day, Kyle.
It's not like I respond, suck it. I mean, I at least keep it civil, to be like Paul Humbucker.
You do say no. Fuck you. You do say suck it.
I think it. I've never actually texted you suck it.
I got the suck it energy. Come on.
Oh, God. By the way, if that's not a clip, if that's not a soundbite on Jim's show within 2 weeks, it would be damn disappointing.
Oh, exactly, man. If this was a regular thing, that's soundbite worthy.
Yeah. Still as good as the sausage guy, though. Still
no, God no.
That's the best one. He should be in discussion. All right, fuck it. Let's go to football now. We are.
Now that's a segue, bitches.
Yeah. No. Super Bowl 55. Bucks.
Yes.
Chiefs. Well, we haven't done a show in a couple weeks because I had that coronavirus thing in my family. But where were you guys again on the picks last weekend? Like, who'd you guys have going to the Super Bowl between these four teams?
Oh, I was completely undefeated last week. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was
straight up with a spread.
Oh, straight up. I did not do spread.
Because
no.
That's not impressive, though.
I was both. I had the Bucks cover and the win. I mean, if you had the Bucks winning, you had them on the spread.
Correct.
And I don't remember what the spread was on the Chiefs, but I think I had it as well.
My dumbass was 0-2 last week. I
tried to warn you, Ernest.
I had the pack. Well, here's the fucked up part. I came into the playoffs saying the Bucks will win the NFC, and then I changed my pick last week, saying,
"Well, that's 101. Come
that's
on,
what
buddy.
you get. That is what you get for
Tell him, Jim.
Yeah.
That is what you get for doubting Tommy.
Yeah, my Tommy.
And to be honest, gentlemen, all the football reasons dictated that he should have lost. And I mentioned that on Beyond the Buzzer previous Thursday going into that game. But I still picked Tom because I know what Murphy's Law is. And I know that the universe, for some reason, wants me to continue to listen to the utter bullshit of people call him the GOAT. I'm over that.
Here we go.
You talk about Murphy's Law, but do you know what Cole's Law is?
Remind me, I have heard of that.
It's cabbage, mayonnaise, and carrots.
What can I say except you're welcome? No, man, here's the thing. And I'm going to do this quickly just because, you guys are going to make me speak to it at some point. It's not that Brady.
I wish our audience could see our text because if they see our text, they get more context of this conversation.
Well, and I mean, let's be honest. Like, however long you, and I mean no offense to you here on this, Jim, but like you're relatively new to EJ and his trolling of how much Tom Brady ruined his marriage by how much he has a love affair with him. But the way it goes with Brady is I've never truly had a problem with people thinking he's the GOAT. It's when they do it for a wrong reason. And right. Listen, for the people who came out of the woodwork this past weekend and said, well, he's proven now he's the GOAT. Are you fucking kidding me? He threw 3 picks. That was a defensive win for Tampa Bay. Let's be clear. And to your point, Jim, that game was thrown away either by LaFleur or Rodgers more than Brady won it. Let's be clear about all that. If this game proved to you that Brady is the GOAT, you're doing it wrong. You either already thought so going in and you still think so. Okay, I respect that. Or you're like me and you're still not impressed by what you saw. Like, he's the most accomplished NFL quarterback. He's the most decorated. That's obviously without question. The stats are there. But there's just some throws that are made in the NFL, especially nowadays, that Brady can't make now or in his prime. That's just a fact.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. No, what you said there is correct because, I said it on the podcast earlier this week. If Tom Brady lost on Sunday, in my opinion, he's still a GOAT. That doesn't change. That didn't change all of a sudden, after winning on Sunday. That was, in my opinion, established years ago. Like, y'all late to the party on that one.
You've been a Patriots fan for years.
Right, yeah. Well, shut up.
Yeah, nothing that happened this past weekend, this playoff year, this regular season, or what is going to happen in 10 days is going to establish whether or not Tom Brady is the greatest of all time.
I'll amend it with this, Jim, really quickly.
Right.
If he does something, if he has a significant, let's say he breaks Young's record for passing touchdowns in a Super Bowl in this upcoming game, that's a different question. But no one here in the blue room believes that's going to happen.
That ain't happening. 6 touchdowns? Fuck out of here.
If he ties it with 6 touchdowns at age 43, even I'll have to perk an ear.
Bro, I mean, if that happens,
if we're being honest, he has the offense to do it. Yeah. And he has the weapons to do it, but I don't see it happening. But there's nothing that's going to happen in this playoff year, in this Super Bowl that should establish him or discredit him as greatest of all time either way. Like, either him winning as many Super Bowls and making it to as many championships and all the other accolades that I've run down on the last 2 weeks of Huddle Up because there were just too many to fit in one episode. Either those things are, he was either there before or he's never going to be there for you, really. I mean, there's nothing that's going to happen at this point that is going to that should really establish it. Again, if you're doing it correctly. I agree, Kyle. Like, it's either been established or it just never will.
Yeah, I mean, and even still, I'm not going to go as far as ever will, because the dude's trying to play to 45. If he makes that and he continues this level of greatness, again, even at some point, I'm going to have to bend an ear, because longevity matters. And he's not George Blanda, who led the league in interceptions until Brett Favre came along. Okay, so
overrated Brett Favre, by the way. Overrated Brett Favre.
Yes. Okay.
I've said this too because as a Cowboys fan, Tony Romo, because Brett Favre was his favorite quarterback, Tony Romo played the quarterback position very similar to the way Brett Favre played. And you look at their two legacies and how the majority of people look at those two quarterbacks, and you tell me what the biggest difference is between the two.
Romo's more efficient.
Well, Romo had fewer turnovers.
Well, Favre got rings.
Well, ring.
Oh, ring.
Okay,
but like,
that's fair.
And I'm not saying that Tony Romo is greater than Brett Favre. Like, I'm not trying to make that point. But like,
I am.
I mean, like they're very similar. It's the gunslinger quarterback that sometimes it will pay off in dividends, but other times it will burn you. And it's all perception. Like, if Tony Romo actually wins a Super Bowl, whether it's in Dallas or not, people don't make the joke about, the year he bobbled the snap. People don't make the joke about, that the ridiculous, the game against Denver where people blame him for the loss. Like,
God, that's
51 points given up. Blame that guy.
Those sort of things go away when you finally do win a Super Bowl. I mean, Peyton Manning faced some of the same issues until he won his first Super Bowl. So, like,
correct.
Which is just baffling, and you can argue once you start getting into multiple rings, then you can start using rings as a greater argument. But I always go back to, like, the guys like Dilfer and Brad Johnson and that have rings, and guys
Flacco.
like Marino, Kelly that don't. Yeah, Flacco, another one. Like Marino, Kelly, like, there's so many great quarterbacks that don't have a Super Bowl ring. Like, you can't, like, it is such as a weak crutch that I'm surprised it hasn't snapped yet.
No, and as a real quick aside, you as a Cowboys fan, Jim, are uniquely qualified to answer this question. In Romo's tenure, who was the best defensive player they may have had?
I don't know. Roy Williams. I don't know. Like
Terrence Williams.
Sean
Lee, maybe. But, like,
was it not Reggie White? That's my point.
Right.
Was
nobody
was Leroy Butler?
Yeah, nobody was sniffing White's jock on those Cowboys defenses.
They would long to on those Cowboys defenses. Yeah. See, and that's the thing, and that's the other thing with Brady, right? Like, no one talks about the fact of the damn murderers row of future Hall of Famers and current, by the way, because some of them already got the bleep in. Now he says bleep, Jesus. Have gotten in already, right? And
sure.
That list is huge. And oh, by the way, Brady's back. And what is the Bucs defense? A bunch of freaking dogs, man. Like, no one's talking about this defense, and it's just a damn crime. And by the way, side note, I don't know how many multi-ring Super Bowl heroes are involved in multiple cheating scandals.
I'm going to say something that's going to probably piss off a lot of football fans.
Uh-oh, here it
comes.
comes.
I'm sure. Well, no, hold on. I think you'll agree with me on this, actually, Kyle.
Oh, I didn't say I wouldn't. You have a tendency to say stuff that pisses people off, even when they're dead wrong. I've seen your Facebook feed and how many people don't know what the hell they're talking about.
In so many things, and not just sports, too. Is Brett Favre more accomplished than Tony Romo? Yeah, absolutely. But I prefer Tony Romo as a quarterback than Brett Favre.
It's not close.
I'm a big Romo guy, personally. Put him on an average team in that era he played in. He's gone to a couple Super Bowls.
Hey, did you hear that, Jim? The alleged Giants fan is a big Romo guy.
I did.
But you do that, though. You do that.
Oh, yeah.
That's been well known for years.
You know, it's easy to get lost in game by game, year by year, but like, you know, and you know, as another side note, my favorite Cowboy of all time is officially retiring a Cowboy, Jason Witten.
Hall of Famer.
Yep. We'll do the 1 day contract, and like it absolutely guts me that pairing didn't get to win a title together.
Oh God. That's a great point.
They were not only were they so good, but like they were so like it was they were always there. Like, you know, and I know Romo had injuries, but Romo played through a ton of injuries. And like I can only imagine the stuff that Jason Witten went through. I mean, the guy like ruptured his spleen and didn't miss a start. Like it is just crazy. And the fact that those two guys never got a Super Bowl. And I know there's countless tremendous players, in the history of the NFL to never win a Super Bowl. But as a Cowboys fan, obviously I want my team to win every year. But for those two to never win, like those are two guys that like if they could have went somewhere outside of Dallas and gotten a ring, like I would have championed that because they were just so good and they deserve, like, I'm glad Witten, like people, and it's obviously a very different position than the quarterback, but like people recognize how good Jason Witten is, but I wish more people would truly get their heads out of their ass, realize how good Tony Romo was as a quarterback. Like I'm glad now people are realizing how smart he is.
Yes.
Listening to the booth, of course.
Like, that's how he played the game. Like, when you hear him say these things, that's literally how he played the game, and he was literally that good on the field every week. And people just, I get it. The quarterback of the Cowboys is always going to be one of the most easy positions to hate against.
That's it. He's a Cowboy. That's why he's hated. That has to do with him personally.
I don't think it's that simple either. Like, sure, that's a big part of it. Let's not be dumb here. Also, by the way, side note, Tony Romo's chattiness is a great explanation for how modest that one Jason Witten is as well, because otherwise, if they were two chatty Cathys, they would not be that close. But the punchline is this. When it comes to Romo, I think the main reason he's air quotes hated is because of the fact that he had so many times that he was close and didn't get there. When like all that has to happen, Jim, you can account for this. Is Sensabaugh doesn't accidentally get a paw and trip him after he fumbles that snap. If he still gets into the end zone and scores the necessary points to win that playoff game, Jim, he's still a fucking hero, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And like I never understood like, because people are like, oh, he bobbled the snap. Like, how many times do you see snaps bobbled? But like, how many times do you see guys who are starting quarterbacks in the playoffs as the holder? Like, the only reason he was doing that is because he started that year as the backup. So like, you don't want to mess up that relationship between kicker and holder. So he kept that position, and it's like, so he bobbled a snap. But like, how many of those guys, like you said, actually get up, actually get the ball, and come within feet of scoring? Like that should tell you how good he is, not become a laughingstock. And again, it's his rookie, like not his rookie year, but his first year with real playing time. Like There's not a lot of rookies or first year quarterbacks that have that wherewithal either.
And can we say the simplest thing? It was a shit snap, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was a terrible snap.
So what's the entire fuck? The one time the fat guy should be blamed, you blow it? I mean, anyways.
Big Jim, you had some beef with Pats fans.
Uh-oh. Well, I'm interested to hear this. Oh, wait, you have beef with EJ? What happened, Jim?
Look, you know what? Like, it's not all Pats fans. So I don't want to like just paint it as Pats fans, but like this is just it's obviously prevalent with some of them this year because, Brady's in the Super Bowl at Tampa. But like, if your star guy moves on to a different team and has success, you are totally allowed to be happy for that guy, even root for them if your team is eliminated. What you aren't allowed to do is take a victory lap like you and your team have won something. Like, and I'm in a position, and I was thinking about this when we were talking about this topic in the group text. Currently, Alex Ovechkin is in the final year of his contract with the Washington Capitals. If he doesn't re-sign, which I think he will, I don't think he wants to play anywhere else in the NHL than in Washington. But if he would leave and go play somewhere else in the NHL, I want him to be successful. I'm an Alex Ovechkin fan. I'm a Capitals fan, but I'm also an Alex Ovechkin fan. That guy has basically saved the Capitals organization. So I want success for him. If he would go to, I don't know, the Colorado Avalanche. If he goes to the Avalanche make it to the finals, the Caps aren't in it. By all means, I'm going to be rooting for Alex Ovechkin / the Colorado Avalanche to win the Stanley Cup. However, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to buy Avalanche gear and be running around like I've been a suffering Avalanche fan for all this time, and I'm able to spike this one, right at center ice, like my team did something. No, and I've seen Pats fans doing that, and it's ridiculous. Like, be happy for Tom, that's fine. Be happy for Gronk, that's fine. You guys didn't make the playoffs this year, so be happy for your dude, but dial it back in. Your team didn't make the playoffs. Your team didn't make it to the AFC Championship. Your team didn't make it to the Super Bowl. They didn't do any of those things. Your guy proved he's that good. So be happy for the guy, but just turn it down from 11, Spinal Tap, okay? Bring the main down.
And you know what? The part that makes that even more mind-boggling, Jim, is all the excuses that Pats fans make when it doesn't go well. They have a shit ton of legitimate ones, even if Brady's on the goddamn squad, man.
Right?
Not for nothing, their core sucks. And the fact that, by the way, that Cam Newton got as many wins as he did after all the practices that were missed, after all the opt-outs on that defense.
Made that case last night. I made that case last night. You're on the same page on that.
Well, I see, and you're a knowledgeable Pats fan. I would expect you to come out like that. Thank you, sir. But
keep walking into these, EJ. You really do.
Dude. Jim, this is 7 years now.
Oh, amazing.
Okay.
No, that's his point. 7 years later, you're still walking into each and every one of these motherfuckers. That's what he's trying to tell you.
It's part of the banter.
Insert popcorn eating GIF. That's just me over here.
Exactly.
Hey, you have a supply. I'm down, man. Listen, but the thing that I can't get over, and the part that makes me just want to throw shit through the fucking window. By the way, side note, these same people that are penalizing Schilling for his political views are the same ones also chanting Brady's so great as a staunch Trump supporter. But I digress. The other part I want to add in is, can you stop with the frickin' Tom didn't need Belichick bullshit for 30 seconds?
Right.
This is about the dumbest fucking thing I've seen in all of sports analysis. And credible guys are doing it, which is why I'm angry about it. I'm not naming names, but there are certain guys that were in my writing pin even that are doing it. And I've called them out. Listen, if you see my feed and you've seen me exchange with one of them, these are people who I think are credible that know better than to pull this shit. For one, stop with the Tom Brady is the greatest athlete of all time bullshit. The guy needs to be able to run and not make me feel like I can catch him at 300 pounds when he's 28 and I'm 42, okay? Second, he did nothing to help amass this team. The one good argument of LeBron James fans over Jordan is he didn't have Jerry Krause to put the team together. Brady did none of that shit. He's responsible for one spot, albeit a very important spot, on the field, and that is it. Him landing with Arians, him having the best receiver core in the NFL, him having a now suddenly improved offensive line, him having a former starter who was a 1,000-yard carrier in Leonard Fournette as one of several good backs in a core. and the best defense in the playoffs at the very least, has nothing to do with Thomas Edward Bieber Brady. That shit did not happen because of him. Here's what Jim had to,
tread lightly, buddy. That's my boy.
Hey,
tread lightly.
Facts of the case are these, and they are not in dispute. You can't handle the truth. Anyway.
Okay, Jack.
Actually, if you wanted extra points, it would have been Colonel Nathan R. Jessup. Moving on.
That's true.
Right. So, I know everybody's always wanted that debate is did Brady need Belichick or did Belichick need Brady? The fact is they needed each other in that realm for that number of years. What happens after the fact is irrelevant because it's two completely different situations. Tom Brady was put on a great team. Bill Belichick, especially this year, was dealt with just a bucket of shit that he almost turned into a playoff team. So like the fact that the Patriots were even in contention for a playoff spot at the end of the year shows how great he is, and we know how great Tom Brady is. So like, yeah, it's just. It's lazy journalism.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's lazy.
It's horrible. And unfortunately, people just run with it. Like some of the takes that I just see get ran with so many times, it's like, stop. Just stop being.
Yeah, it's like you watch on my Facebook feed and my Twitter feed, and these people, these simpletons, I call them, these simple sports fans. This with the lazy take, it makes my head hurt, man. It makes me itch. It makes me itch.
This one in particular, though, it's not just lazy sports fan. I can get past that. There's some credible human beings doing this trash, and it just I'm not going to say it hurts. I'm not going to get that dramatic, but man, it's annoying. And oh, by the way, quick side note: the best Patriot team assembled is one that was lost. Belichick did his job, and Brady couldn't finish it because the gap was more than 3 points. No one wants to talk about 18 wins, one giant loss.
Wait. Well, it was 17-14. Brady did go down the field and score with 2 minutes to go, and then, luck of the draw, my Giants. Oh, what a day. That was a great
now
day.
They're your Giants. Whatever bandwagon here.
It's a great day. I mean, my oldest son's name's Eli. I mean, you do you.
That's a front. That's a front. A guy who names his son Eli never loves Romo that much. That's a fact.
Well, Tony's too common. I'm gonna need the E name. I gotta name him Antonio.
Romo Christian. Boom.
Romo Christian.
There you go.
No, but we all three see the same thing here. Both things can be right. I said this on the podcast earlier in the week. Both things can be right here. Belichick's great. Brady's great. Is Brady winning the divorce? Okay, yes, fine. He win the divorce by virtue of the Super Bowl. But what does that mean? It doesn't mean shit. It means nothing.
Yeah.
What about 2 years from now? What if Belichick establishes himself and, a team that's not ravaged by COVID. Has a few receivers, literally ravaged
by COVID, losing players opting out, key players opting out, then having that situation for a couple weeks where Cam was out 2 weeks and they couldn't go to practice. And the fact they went 7-9 is actually pretty miraculous if you think about it. They didn't crater this year. To me, cratering is 3-13, not 7-9.
I mean, they weren't a gimme on the schedule. They beat a playoff team coming out the gate.
Almost beat the Chiefs too. They were in that Chiefs game in week 4, I think it was, week 3.
What's that?
That Chiefs game they lost. They were in that game.
They were in it. You're right. You're right.
And they were undermanned that night too. So.
And they still managed to control Patrick LeVon Mahomes II. Figure that out.
Yeah. Last thing here on the football side, it's official. Deshaun Watson has now requested a trade from the Houston Texans. Texans got a new coach. Don't matter. I'm actually putting the final pieces on blogging now on which team should at least inquire for him and the situation, a little bit of notes there. But what's the best fit for him, you think? Best fit, which team could benefit from a guy like him? Well, I guess that's the wrong question because any team could benefit from a top 5 quarterback, in my opinion. Which team do you think fits him the most right now? Or teams? You can say plural. Multiple teams. Kyle, want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. So off the top of my head, my answer is very general because you did ask kind of a general question, then you corrected it. My response is any team that can protect him without him being on his, behind or rupturing his spleen, quite literally, there was, what was it? It was, I think it might have been a game in Miami because I remember I had to write about it for Dolphins Wire. He had to travel via bus.
Yes, I remember that. That was like 2 years
Because
ago.
if he flew, it could have done more damage to him
Right,
in the rehab process. And that was his first year in when they still had Dwayne Brown and things hadn't starting to suddenly cave in. And as much as I like Laramie Tunsil, wow, the draft picks they gave up for him and the fact that he's the most expensive offensive tackle in not only in his division but top 3 in the league, just no. I mean, Bruce Matthews fine, but no. So anyways, the rest of the line obviously sucks because of it. So if you could provide protection, you're a good choice. Now listen, biasedly, if somehow or another the Hall of Fame safety who's still getting gypped and doing damn fine work so far to become a Hall of Fame GM as well, trades Jimmy Garoppolo and some picks for Watson.
Whoa, I mean, you off the Garoppolo train now?
I mean, listen, Jimmy Grops has shown he's injury prone at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Niners have a pretty damn good offensive line, and they have one of the best fullbacks in the business. You don't get, and Kittle's a hell of a blocker too. Yeah. Not like no offense to Vernon Davis, but Kittle's a much better blocker. And at the end of the day, that's a good situation.
You're so biased.
But you know what? Tell me I'm wrong. Now
you're not wrong. Look, I'll put it this way: you put Deshaun Watson in San Francisco, they're probably the favorites in the NFC. And I'm not even joking when I say that because the NFC is wide open.
Yeah, there'll be too many Brady bozos like you that are still constantly verbally filleting him to prevent that from happening in the press.
That's not going to change. So let's get used to it.
Negative ghostwriter.
Okay.
Why don't I just get used to ESPN? How about that? Why don't I just get used to Clay Travis, huh, Jim?
Oh. Broken. Broken. Jim, what's a good fit for Watson, you think?
I don't know what team necessarily is the best fit. The crazy thing is this offseason for quarterbacks is like, again, I'm getting another shipment of that popcorn from the local movie theater in because there is so many quarterback storylines. Like, we touched on some of the buzz, and I don't think there's anything a whole lot there with what's going on in Green Bay right now.
No.
But you have Green Bay, you have Detroit, you have, what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson? Like, are the Dolphins sold on Tua? What are the Jets going to do? There's so many, and like Kyle said, the with the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo, and the Cowboys don't have a starting quarterback under contract for next season. So there's so many, storylines, but the Dolphins, if they're not sold on Tua, I think they have the best capability to make a deal for him, especially for a team that is on the rebuild, because you have a lot of picks in Miami. You have another young quarterback that can be at play. So that seems like a fairly likely landing spot. I feel like the New York Jets could feel like a potential landing spot. And people can shit on the Jets, man. And don't get me wrong, the Jets have done their fair share over, I don't know, most of their history over the course of my lifetime to warrant it. However, if you look at that team, I don't think that, and I'm not saying they're going to be a contender, but I don't think that team is that far off from surprising people and actually making a little bit of noise, especially in an AFC East that, and the Bills obviously were the best, but that division is open, man. That division's open for business. And, the Jets have young talent there. They just, you got to hope this new coach works out. And if you get the right quarterback in there, they have pieces. They absolutely have pieces. And it could be a relatively quick turnaround. Again, not to a Super Bowl contender, but to a team that is going to make some noise in the AFC.
You mentioned Miami. About Tua, if they committed to Tua. Well, they would be committed to Tua if there wasn't a top 5 guy standing out there realistically be able to be got. Obviously. Right. If there wasn't Deshaun Watson asking to be traded and the Miami Dolphins have the assets necessary to make that deal, then obviously you got to look into that. And even Tua would be one of the pieces probably on the move because he probably go to Houston. Who knows? So yeah, Miami I think be a great fit. Obviously, I mean the culture, number one. What they're doing down here. I wrote some teams down on my list of hold on, bring it real quick. Where is it at? There it is. I wrote a list of teams who should inquire. What about the Bears?
So
corrected a mistake from 4 years ago, by not drafting them in the first place.
I'm glad you titled this list the way you did, Ernest Julius Christian, for one reason and one reason alone.
Why is that?
Why the hell would Watson want to go to fucking Chicago? I'm sorry.
No. I can see what you're saying there, but I'm talking about the fit. Nick Foles he's still living off the 2017 thing, but he's not a starting quarterback in this league. Mitchell, what's his name? Big Jim.
Trubisky.
Apparently, he's Canadian now.
And by the way, I only brought up the Bears because I want to hear Big Jim say Trubisky.
We already know.
I heard, what about the Carolina Panthers? I mean, I like Bridgewater, but he's not your long-term answer.
It's funny you say that. We just talked about that on BTB. Again, a damaged O-line, and the offense currently runs CMC, right. where you have. I mean, do you believe in DJ Moore? Are those numbers real, or are they a flirt? Because Anderson's going to get his, and Deshaun will make him big. It won't be DeAndre Hopkins, but it'll be good, right? But I don't. Again, a team that should inquire, as you very wisely titled it. But again, why would you go to Carolina? They're a dumpster fire right now. They've lost so much defense. Like, they're not winning that division anytime soon, even with Breeze retiring.
Right.
Another team. Okay,
go to NFC South. Go to New Orleans. If they get. I know they have cap issues.
They got a lot of cap issues.
That's not really realistic either. And like I've even seen, like some friends of mine said that they heard the Cowboys looking in. I'm like, if you're looking at spending $30 million or between 30 and 35, just fucking sign Dak. Like, the guy's already proven he can play in your system. Why are you going to go out there? And I'm not saying Dak is Deshaun Watson, but again, you have your own offensive line issues. So why are you going to bring a guy in that's never worked in your system? And I mean, the way Dak was starting this year, now granted, he had to play and throw as much as he did because of the way the defense was playing.
Correct.
But like the dude was just setting the ready to set the record book on fire. So by all accounts, you get him back under contract. The defense started to improve a little bit by the end of the season. You start to build those pieces. There's no reason to believe you're not going to have some success in Dallas, especially in an NFC East that is again, like the AFC East, pretty damn wide open. But another team, if they can find a way to make it work, and I said it on Tuesday on Huddle Up, if Alex Smith decides, that he's retiring, Jesus, make that choice quick, because if you can find a way, I don't know what the Washington cap situation is, but if you can get Deshaun Watson in Washington, good God, that is a game changer on a team that is already reaping the benefits of Ron Rivera, a team that a year ago when they made that deal, I was like, damn it, that's the coach I wanted. Like I want Ron Rivera in Dallas, and look what he's done to Washington in a year's time. You get him a quarterback like Deshaun Watson and the weapons they have, and you can build upon that, and with that defense, you got a new lead dog in the NFC East.
You know what team I wrote down here that is not getting any buzz about this, but I would at least say they should inquire about it? The Broncos.
Oh, of course.
I like Drew Lock. Drew Lock's okay.
That's a you problem. No, he's not, but okay.
He's okay. He's not horrible.
He's not the answer.
Right.
No.
But it's question.
I don't know. I think he's borderline horrible, frankly.
Okay.
Like the dude has way too much ego for what he produces.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of like me as a sports personality, right? He's got way too much ego for what he produces.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's definitely the case. Yeah, but I think the Broncos are a team that should really be inquiring about him. I mean, I don't know.
Every team that doesn't have a definitive answer at quarterback should at least be inquiring about him. Like if you're even close to making that cap number work, you should be inquiring about him. Whether or not it's realistic is another story, but you should at least be inquiring because he is a guy that is tremendous at the position, and that's with a fairly crappy Houston team that has given him no time to really go to work in that pocket. So if like I said, if you're a team that you're not 100% sold on your guy long term, I mean, obviously teams like, the Rams and stuff like that, you have your guy, good, right, wrong, or indifferent, but you have your guy. But if there's any question, hell yeah, you start to look into that.
Sure. Or hey, how about this, Jim? Put together a package. You don't get him, and instead, as a consolation prize, you do a reverse version, a revised version of that package to get a guy who's now on the open market that took the fucking Lions to a playoff game.
Right.
In Matt Stafford, right?
He's the next guy on the list of interesting quarterbacks to look
I mean,
into.
he's the second best legitimate, like, for sure we know he's gone prospect, right? Like, listen, y'all need to stop worrying about, in the words of Aaron Rodgers himself, RELAX. Relax. Aaron Rodgers negotiates through the media. This is not goddamn new. People, put your head on it.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. I'm not even worried about that. That whole storyline, that thing popped up on Monday. I'm like, okay, this is just Monday overreaction, right? Like, he's not going anywhere.
Like, Mr. Knee Jerk himself is even calling it a knee jerk, ladies and gentlemen.
Like, you're literally, like, the MVP of the league this year probably is going to leave, or you're going to let him go? Like,
wait a minute. When did we start talking about Russell Carrington Wilson? When did he come up?
I mean, he's not going to win it. I'm just telling you what they're going to give it to Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes. That's just the case. That's what it is.
When the correct answer should actually be Aaron Donald, but I digress.
Right. I mean, I said Derrick Henry, but okay.
Okay, Derrick Henry's a great answer, too.
My most valuable player by definition is Dakota Prescott. I don't care what anything says. Because, man.
You stop it, Big Jim.
By the time we got to the end of the year, if Dak still would have been there, I don't know. That defense still sucked. Never mind.
Yeah, it's still really terrible. Lost the Giants. All right. Anything else, guys? I think that's the docket of things I had set up to talk about. Maybe we can do this next Thursday and then predict the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. I was under the assumption we were definitely doing this again next Thursday.
Yeah. There you go. Real quick before I let you go, Big Jim, who's winning the Men's Royal Rumble on Sunday?
I predicted AJ Styles.
Really?
I did. And it's more because the way I'm thinking, the way I was looking at it when I made the predictions is I have Bianca Belair winning the women's. So My thought is you're probably not going to have a superstar from the same show win both. Although if you're going to have one that wins both, it's definitely going to be SmackDown because it's definitely the A show right now.
Absolutely.
And I feel like they like it's one of the few things that AJ Styles hasn't done yet, and WWE loves when they can say like this guy's done everything. But I had three three or four sleepers that could potentially be it. One being Big E. I thought that was I felt that was much more realistic back this fall around draft time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Daniel Bryan, without a doubt, is in play, and I think this is a product of the WWE Network Peacock deal. I would not be 100% surprised if a returning John Cena wins the Men's Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Did you see that news early in the week, Kyle, about the network going to Peacock?
I did. As somebody who is a former investor in WWE, I actually had my wife sell off her shares when they first made the network, and just like the excellent transaction. I'm very surprised that happened, actually, because when you hear something like that happen, that implies a reduction in McMahon control, which you guys are better experts than I am about Vince McMahon being, how you say, a control enthusiast, in the words of Patrick Warburton in a rental car commercial, right?
To his own detriment.
Right. So I'm wondering, like, I mean, it's ironic. I can use Ted DiBiase to give a very legitimate reason on how that happened. Everybody's got a price.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm very surprised that that's what went down and that was allowed to happen. Maybe it's something connected to whatever revenue shortfalls are taking place due to COVID. Yeah, I know they're still taping, but with as big as the product has become internationally, how on earth are they recovering that? Like WWE in Saudi Arabia, what in the entire hell? I never would have expected something like that, even being
They're
billed.
huge out there, and they're huge in Saudi Arabia.
Made like record profits this year, because they, all of their touring money and stuff like that they were spending on the road, that all went away. You had
Cuts.
You had talent cuts. You also had you had limited rosters that you were using, so there was less money going out there. So it was literally, I mean, you were making your merchandise deals, you were making your TV deals, and they made record profits in 2020, or near record profits.
Interesting. Because obviously, like I said,
they get
the
$1
stock is so
billion
low.
to start 2021.
Yeah, right. Well, that's an interesting point. Like, if they actually realized profit by reduction in cost, which is fine, but if you're not bringing in new revenue, that means as a market cap, you're shrinking, which is unfortunate. So
Right.
From that standpoint, I can see where rather than pay for a rebuild, they get in bed with the peacock, giggity, and See, the best ones, Jim, is when you slide it in there all nice and smooth. That's what she said. And you just keep kind of going as an aside, and then EJ catches it when you're like 6 or 7 words in the next sentence, and he starts laughing. That's when you know you've won, my friend.
But I'll say this: I'm not actually terribly surprised that the network was sold to a service in the U.S. because there was rumblings. It was around this time last year. Where there was talks about it was going to be moved to like Disney, and actually there was even some buzz that Disney it would obviously be hosted on like ESPN3 or ESPN Plus, where the Disney was going to actually outright purchase the WWE. Now I don't know if there was ever like a whole lot of real smoke to that fire, but so the fact that a year later that the network distribution is sold off doesn't necessarily surprise me, because I think too, I think that's why there's a lot more intrigue. I mean, obviously this is always my favorite time of year as a wrestling fan, but I think there's a lot more intrigue now because when you have this new partnership, I think you have a window where you want to get as many eyes on the product as possible. So I think there's a potential for a lot of big surprises between now and WrestleMania time. So as a wrestling fan, I think it is super exciting. But yeah, I as a person who's definitely been close to the business, The deal actually didn't surprise me. I mean, I didn't see any rumblings that it was happening, but when I saw the news, I wasn't terribly surprised that the trigger had been pulled on that.
And only
So
that,
it lined
we also
up
thought,
for you.
right. And only that, we also heard rumors about them maybe doing a tier system. Remember?
Yep.
They raised the prices last year. That didn't happen. Look, I think, for me personally, okay, like, it's a win-win really for fans because you actually save money as a consumer now. Because what happens now is that by it moving to Peacock, if you order Peacock with ads, you're saving $5. I have the network, so does Jim. Obviously, we pay $10 a month just for the network. Obviously, we love it. If we wanted to keep the network and Peacock with the ads, it'll be $5 less. If you decide to, in my case, I'm not going to do this. I hate ads, so I'm going to keep it $10. So for me, where I benefit is I get access to Peacock, more of the Peacock, because I have Peacock, but I have the free tier. Now I'm going to be able to have all the Peacock plus the network, of course, in one. So I'm actually getting more value.
I'm an Xfinity subscriber, so I get Peacock for free with my Xfinity subscription, so I'm saving $10 a month.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is fantastic. And by saving $10 a month, I just mean I'm going to spend $10 a month elsewhere.
Right. No, my only fear, Big Jim, is the layout. I really hope the network has its own hub in the system.
I think it will.
That's the only thing to work out.
You go on Peacock now and you have the trending whatever, and you can watch the channels on it that are quote unquote live. And then you can scroll to the right and you have your movies, you have your TV shows, you have, entertainment, and things are broken down in different ways. I think they're simply, if I'm in any of these meetings, I'm saying just put a WWE network tab. Make it simple. I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but we're talking about wrestling fans.
Yeah, because they are picky as fuck.
Exactly. And if you have to, scroll past The Office and Cheers and 30 Rock and all of that to find a Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
People aren't going to be happy.
And not only that, people like me, for example, I tend to get into rabbit holes. Right now, I'm watching Primetime from 1986 and 1987. I don't want to have to sift through the entire Peacock library just to get to the deep shit. Okay, it's bad enough I can get WrestleMania. I'm more of a deep type of person, though.
Yeah, and they've already overhauled from the first version of the network to what's there now. They spent a lot of time and money redoing that about a year ago, 16 months ago, something like that. So if I'm them, I'm literally just I say simply, but simply drop and drag whatever you have, copy and paste onto Peacock, copy and paste it, and make it simple. Because if you don't, I think you're going to lose people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Kyle needs to watch, old Raws and from 1994.
The Val Venus choppy pee pee.
Choppy pee.
Actually, I think I go back a little further than that. The latest action I remember would have been Sid Justice and Ultimate Warrior. And
all right. Papa Shango made Ultimate Warriors. The black liquid leak out of his head. Those days.
By the way, Val Venus is the new Curt Schilling. Just for the record.
Holy hell.
Yeah, the same.
Dude, people are just picking up on this now. There's an independent company, it's the world famous Monster Factory in New Jersey, and we're friends with Danny Cage, the owner and operator of the Monster Factory, and Val is whatever. I don't even know what party he'd affiliated himself with. But Danny Cage is very liberal, very open-minded, and all of that. And the online back and forth those two used to go at each other with, again, give me the popcorn, pass it over. I'm sitting here for the long haul. I've known Val was this level crazy easily 4 years ago, and that people are just picking up on it now. That guy, holy crap, what a head case. I guess his Twitter finally got removed. He's been
really?
Yeah, it did this week. Now I don't know if it was a temporary if it was like a, temporary timeout or if it's a full on, whatever. But, his Facebook had been, suspended numerous times over the years. Just, he's a nut. He's fucking crazy.
Yeah, he'd be a nut, but was the banning warranted though? Because I have a lot of like issues with that too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure now. I didn't actually see the tweet because he had to take it down, but like, he's one of these guys that accuses Joe Biden of being a pedophile, and
he's one of those idiots. Okay, he's
apparently there was a picture that he posted that obviously wasn't a real picture, but or it was like a Photoshop picture, but of like Biden and an underage child in some sort of situation. And that's when his account first got suspended. And so he had to like take it down, and he just kept like rattling on about it. So like, it's more than just like a cancel culture thing. Cause I'm right there with you on cancel culture stuff. Like it's not a way to operate, but when you get to the level that the guys like him are at, I think there is a responsibility by some social media companies and stuff that you kind of have to step in, because the misinformation is almost too detrimental at that point.
I agree.
And I mean, even if it's a repeat offender, that should be a factor too, shouldn't it?
Sure. Like, everybody get, you get a warning, you got a couple of warnings, whatever. But like, if you're just not getting it, then, you have the same thing as well.
Yeah. I'm with you. Hey, Kyle, who's going to Rumble?
I think if Cena's coming back, that they're gonna and they're in the middle of changing brands and doing all that and getting the Peacock. It seems to me, just from a greedy business standpoint, that's the guy I put the money on. As somebody who doesn't know Jack, I'm just going strictly from a business place.
I like his answer, Jim. I like his answer.
Yeah? Who do you got?
I actually had Daniel Bryan.
Smart. That's who most of the rest of the 3 count guys had. Spoiler alert.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Nice. So, anyway, plug away, fellas. Kyle, want to go first?
Yeah, I'm not the celebrity. I do go first here because everybody needs to remember Jim. Of course, you'll find me, Kyle Nash, the student of the game, on Twitter at the SOTG. Check out my works on Instagram as well as the SOTG. Check me out on Facebook as a student of the game. My writings with the 3pointconversion.com. That's the number 3, not the word 3. Of course, Monday nights and Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Beyond the Buzzer with me and Danny Thompson, and of course producer extraordinaire Bobby Blackjack with I-95 Sports. Then check out 2 little extra things this way, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. It's funny. I appeared on 2 shows that are very, very different. I, of course, was on The Smoke Show with our good friend Tokyo Jameson. The Smoke Show did a recording there. He has not dropped it yet. He said some things that were completely inaccurate on a previous episode. So if you want to know what that is, I think it's still his current latest one that's up, where he's talking to the head of K's Kicks, a shoe company that he is in cahoots with. So that was a fun conversation, but he said some things that he needed to be called out on, and he brought me on the show to do it. Also, I happen to be the student of the game and former co-host from Dinner Time. So that was a good time. All the way around. I insist you check it out. And of course, I go from the Smoke Show to another man I know who is a straight arrow, great at his job, a true professional. The General Mike Patton brought me on to help him analyze the trenches of the AFC South. Good episode all the way around. Go on Haps, find Mike Patton, check him out. And of course, you'll be able to find that on my Haps page as well at the SOTG for the follow. And of course, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, hilarity by default. Demos told me he was going to drop something on Wednesday, but I haven't seen it yet. So, hey, listen, it's coming. Go to the Hilarity by Default YouTube page. Check the stuff out. Subscribe. Get the notifications while you're there. And when we do drop something, you'll get it. It'll be on like Donkey Kong. And, of course, my work with A7BN Sports as well. Jim.
Damn, you're busy.
Whew, how do I follow that? You can follow me at Big Jim Sports on Twitter. Of course, I have the Huddle Up podcast on Tuesdays. You can follow us Facebook and Twitter at Huddle Up Podcast. Instagram is at Huddle Up Pod. I have the discussions with the Nobody. It's I had the first episode with EJ. I had a solo episode, and I kind of take a break. Just everything that had gone on. It was hard to find a creative outlet. I actually dropped a new episode of that today.
Nice.
Just there's been a lot of emotional stuff in the last couple of weeks, and I had to get it off my chest today. So I dropped a new one there. That one's hit or miss. So you can look Discussions with a Nobody, and the other one, which is also a number 3, never a word 3, is 3 Count Thursday. It's my pro wrestling show. We just got done airing our Royal Rumble prediction show. Tonight, we are every Thursday night, 8 o'clock on our Facebook page. You can follow us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at 3 Count Thursday. We're on, all of my shows are on every single podcast platform. I've always said, if you can find one that I'm not on, just tell me and I'll get on there. I'll figure out a way to make it work, but I'm pretty sure I've checked every box on that one. So again, Huddle Up Podcast, 3 Count Thursday. You can follow me at Big Jim Sports.
Hey, don't worry. There's a service out there for that, Jim. It's called Let EJ Know, and he'll go out of his way to find it and then harass you about it.
But it's like, I know I covered all the normal bases. Then we got on the Spotify. Actually got on Amazon because of EJ.
Yep.
I remember him talking about it. So I think we covered all bases.
I'm the podcast connoisseur here, man. Come on now, man. I live this shit,
It's almost the podcast snob. Like, you give the dude a link to go to. Oh, this isn't a podcast.
No, but seriously, let me tell you why I'm that way. I'm actually someone who's really big in supporting, independent media, especially you guys, all your shows. The thing for me is, though, it's easier for me to listen to you guys as opposed to watching because of, lifestyle and whatnot. That's why I always encourage it.
Like, the first thing I'll do is if I find out about a friend of mine or something that is has content, the first place I go, because I've an iPhone and an iPad, the first thing I go to is the Apple Podcast app, and I look for it there. If I can't find it there, after I stop being annoyed, then I start looking for it elsewhere.
Yeah. But seriously, like podcasting, like it's to me that's the best way to follow somebody's work is on the audio grid. You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, I'm not anti-video. I've even started integrating this show to some respects to the video, but it's just hard for me to follow everybody's work and keep up with everybody's work with if it's just video. I need to have access, at least audio wise. So that's all. It's out of love, Kyle.
Yeah,
I say out of love.
Headphones stop working when there's an image. You have to see everything.
Oh, I can't sit and watch you guys talk about and whatever if I'm with my kids.
You don't have to watch. That's the point. You can just listen. It's like you plug the thing in and you put the thing down.
The thing is, though, if you press the button accidentally on the phone, it goes away. It's not like whereas like you can put on a podcast, hit the side button and it plays while you're sitting there. You know what I'm saying?
Now you are starting to sound old. Anyways.
I sound entitled, don't I? It's like an entitled piece of shit.
I can't even comment on that. I feel guilty laughing.
Using my black privilege. What can I tell you? Anyway.
Oh, God! He went there. Oh, God.
Yes. Anyway, fellas, I guess we will do this again next week.
We damn well better.
I hope so.
Boys, enjoy the Royal Rumble, by the way, on Sunday.
I will. I will.
This is the most open. This is like the most open-ended Royal Rumble ever, by the record, a long time anyway. Like,
dude,
you don't know what's going to happen.
I was trying to make my predictions tonight, and even for the matches, I was like the regular matches on the card. I'm going. I have no idea where any of this is going.
Watch Kyle be white. Watch Kyle be right. Doesn't you fucking watch wrestling? Watching me right.
He's one of my sleepers, so I wouldn't even necessarily be terribly wrong either. But it wasn't my official pick. But yeah, I mean, there's so much potential between the prospect of not necessarily having to do a big draw mania, but now you have this new network deal where I think you have to go big. And everything's open-ended, and I think it's as exciting as I can remember a Royal Rumble time in a couple of years.
Well, gentlemen, if my prediction is correct, don't worry. After it happens, you can't see me.
Oh,
Very nice. Very
I like
nice.
that. And on that note, fellas, we'll see you next week.
See you guys.
All right. Class dismissed.
Got it.